Hi and welcome to the Belfry. This is the Brabazon Golf Course, the 12th hole. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to look at my golf swing, and I'm going to tell you what I'm working on and why I'm working on those certain things. Just before we do that, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media platforms, so if you don't already, please go ahead and follow me on those. So we're going to look at my golf swing, and hopefully by telling you, the viewer, what I'm doing with my golf swing and explaining exactly why those things are important for me to change, it might help some of you maybe look at your golf swings in the same way if you have maybe the same issues that I tend to have. So if we just go through this sort of from the golf ball back through into my golf swing, which is kind of the way we would look at a golf swing when someone comes in for a lesson, the first thing we need to establish is what is that golf ball doing? And what are the patterns for that golfer? So if you were to watch me hit golf balls and no swing thoughts, just pick a target, hit some shots, you would see some noticeable things happening. My golf ball tends to start considerably right of target. Now once it starts right of target, it generally does one of two things. It will either stay out to the right, so it'll be more of a push type shot, which generally misses target, or it has some curve to the left. Now when it has curve to the left, it sometimes finishes on target, which is great, but it sometimes finishes too much to the left of target. So I spend my time hitting pushes, draws and overdraws. Now for many of you out there, that might not seem like a bad shot pattern to have. Maybe you're slicing the ball, maybe you're fading the ball and you would like to work towards a draw. I can tell you that it is not always the best ball flight for you. If I was to hit my golf ball with a right to left ball flight and it was a 1, 2, 3 yard draw, that would be fine. My shape tends to get a little bit too excessive. I start the ball too far to the right and it requires too much curve to finish on target. Therefore, I really want to try and neutralise those things. So in terms of numbers, if I'm hitting, I've got a 4-iron here. If I was hitting a 4-iron, again with no swing thoughts, my path can get somewhere in the region of 6 or 7 degrees to the right of target. I therefore need to position the club face more to the left of that, and that's really where my timing comes in. If I have a day when I time it well, I can play some great golf. If I have a day when I time it poorly, I can really struggle with both misses to the right and to the left. So we then look at what's happening in the golf swing which causes those things. So let's quickly run through what I tend to do in my swing. From a setup, I tend to rotate the arms too early, and I tend to get the club head too inside, so it tends to get too much behind me too soon. That sometimes sends my shoulder plane a little bit flat, because for me to get that club in behind me, it tends to raise this lead shoulder, so I often get the club a little inside and a little bit flat in the shoulder turn. Now when I get here, subconsciously I feel the centre of mass out of position, too low, too behind me, and I try and raise it into a position which would be more desirable. I therefore get to the top when I get the golf club into what I would term as a steep position. It's across the line. My club shaft points too much out to the right of the target. So the top of my backswing is really a result of what happens very early in the swing. Because the centre of mass goes behind me too soon, I raise it up and I get my arm playing a little bit too steep and I get the club shaft a little bit too much across the line. Now when I get that club across the line, I've got a couple of options. I can either go with it and I'll hit fades and slices, but what I tend to do is from that position where it's across the line, I will start down, club shaft is still excessively steep, and then I will make an attempt now to start to shallow it. The shallowing of my golf club happens far too late in my golf swing, to the point where I find myself at last parallel with the club head too far behind me still. Now I move the hands on a better path through the ball, I move the hand path left, but my club path is excessively out to the right. So let's just quickly run through that again, and I'm hopefully going to make these more exaggerated than what they are in reality. So I go a little bit inside with a flat shoulder turn, a little bit across the line at the top, start down steep, realise it's steep, shallow the golf club to the point where it's inside, I then flip it over and I can hit some lovely shots, but I can hit some big hooks as well. So what am I trying to do? Well, I have always played my best golf when I can fade the golf ball. At the moment, I really struggle. So I'm working towards some moves which would help me fade the golf ball. So what am I trying to do? Well, at the moment, I'm really trying to keep my lead shoulder low, and I'm trying to keep the club head a lot more outside my hands this way. So my feel, or my idea is I'm trying to get the club to a vertical position where I feel like I've got more inclination to the ground. My shoulders are on a steeper angle. Now from here, I generally find that I don't get the club as cross the line at the top because I've taken out that cause early on. I often find from here that it gets a little bit more neutral at the top, but I certainly have to feel like I point the club more to the left of the target. So my backswing feel is left shoulder down, club outside, and then I feel it from there, I can work it up and lay the club off at the top. Now from here, it's really important for me that I try to get that club head, what I feel is back out more this way. I want to feel like that golf club is steepening as I come down. In reality it doesn't, but I need to stop that club shallowing far too late in the downswing. So, vertical, lay that club off, and then feel like I get my hand working a little bit more down and in, which sends the club a little bit more outside. Once I'm in this position here, I feel like I can swing that club to the left and hit some fades. So on the driving range, mid-iron, a little bit slower speed, I can start to get these moves a little bit better. I can start to get my path a lot closer to zero. I'm really at the moment struggling to take that to the course at full speed, but that's just work in progress. I appreciate that the more I do in practice and the more I bring it out into the course, the better I'm going to get. So you can see the two golf swings that I've put up on the screen, and hopefully you're going to see the difference between the two. I'm going to try and hit one now, but the ones I'm showing you are hopefully you can see the difference there between my original, where the club is very much inside, very across at the top, and I have to reroute it. And then you can hopefully see that the second golf swing there is a little bit closer to what I would hopefully like. It's not quite there, I still need to do some work on it, but I know that during practice that gives me some great numbers on TrackMan and Flight Scope, and it gives me a much more neutral ball flight. So let's go ahead and hit this one. I've not made this easy for myself. I've got 4-iron here on this par 3 because it's 200 odd yards. But I'm going to try and put those things into practice and see if we can't hit this on a little left to right flight. Okay, and that was pretty good for me. That started, difficult to say ideally, but it looked like it started a little left to target. And it certainly had a little bit of movement to the right. So difficult to know without the camera, but that might have been something a little bit better for me. So just a little bit more informative video for you. Thought you might like to know what I'm working on and how I see my game developing. Certainly if I can go on the golf course and hit fades, I'm going to feel like I can control my golf ball a lot more, and that's certainly going to help me lower my scores. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Comments in the box below would be great. I'd love to hear from you. I'll get back to as many as I can. And if you don't already, please subscribe to the channel. Absolutely free, no cost whatsoever, but it means that you won't miss any of the new content that's going up each week, and also gets you to see all the videos that are currently on my channel. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully we will see you again soon.